it going, guys? Can you guys hear me? Hey, is anybody out there? How's everybody doing today? I can't see any of the chat, so I'm having some issues with that. Just give me a minute before we get started. I'm logged into Restream, be able to see your chats. If you guys can hear me on Facebook, YouTube, or any of the platforms, can you please reply so I can make sure that we're all good to start. How's everybody doing today? You guys can hear me? Looks like we're good there. Quiero aprender. Hello, how's it going from YouTube? Hola, ¿cómo estás? Okay, somebody confirm from Facebook or Twitch or Mixer, I think that's the other one. Oh, awesome. YouTube is working. Great. I'll start now. Just my name is Miguel Guerrero. Thanks for joining me on the stream. Here's my website if you guys want to know what kind of work I do and where I'm kind of coming from. Mostly visual effects background. Here's some of my work. Feel free to check it out at magvfx.com, which I'll post on here. Oh, Brazilian. Okay, awesome. Okay, looks like Twitch is working. Also, if you guys have Instagram, feel free to follow me there as well. There's some links there. You guys can see some of the stuff that I've been working on. A lot of 3D printing stuff. Also, if you guys want to download my UI, which I'll probably be updating either today or this week to work better with 2020. But you can download it here. And it comes with all the materials and all my brushes and all the presets, all what I'll be using today to kind of get started. Let me post a link to that. Cool. So how's the music for you guys? Is it okay? Sounds a little loud for me, but you guys let me know if it's too loud for you guys. How's everybody's day going so far? Little loud? Okay, I lowered it down to like half. So it shouldn't be too bad. Will you let me know if it becomes too annoying? I'll lower it down even more. So here's kind of where we left off 2 weeks ago. I haven't touched this since for this guy. Kind of we started doing some poly painting. Okay, awesome, Chris. Thanks. You know, started playing around with some poly paint to see what this guy might look like with some colors. We started redesigning some of the main things to be less, still keep the samurai look, but also feel more organic and bug-like. You know, like if he ripped off pieces from his enemies to make armor. So here's kind of what we started doing. It started taking away from just generic stuff. Here's some more. We started mostly working on the upper body. That's kind of what we'll continue working on today. Here's some alternative shoulder pads, I guess, that I had. I remember which ones were the ones we liked. These are probably the duplicates, so we can get rid of those guys. Oh, that's awesome. Just kill my whole folder. Just give me 1 second to load that back up. So one thing I was doing today, earlier today, was working on the spider creature, his enemy, right? I was playing around with some proportions and trying to figure out like what if he, you know, he has to be way bigger than him because I want him to be sitting on the head later. And this is one of the versions that I was playing around with, just blocking out with Z-spheres and kind of playing around with some limbs and the body position. Which I thought was okay, and then you know, I maybe spend like 20 minutes on that, 30 minutes, just kind of playing around with that. Change this music a little bit. Right. So then I stopped and I wanted to do another version, which was this version. Turn the main guy off. This version. And I felt like this is probably more of what I want. Because I feel like this is more menacing. He still feels like he can still crouch forward or you know, move down, but still be upright to kind of fight with his like big fat like giant limbs. He can like take somebody's head off, kind of like a mantis, or you know, just help him feed with his big mouth. So I feel like this is more the direction I kind of want to go with. So we're probably gonna play around with this guy a little bit more, just to kind of get him going. What do you guys think? Which one are you guys digging more? The upright guy or the other guy? This just doesn't feel menacing enough to me to be like a real threat. You know, I like some of the shapes of the body, but I feel like they're not quite working. So I think I'm going to go with the other one. You know, I changed a few things. There we go. Upright's better, right? Yeah. All right, cool. Okay, I'm glad you guys are digging that one. I still need to work on like the way the butt and all that stuff is gonna work out, because he also needs to be balanced. And right now, his limbs are coming out of his butt, or his the side of his. Okay, cool. Just looking at some of the comments. So I think I'm gonna go with that, which I'm glad that you guys are digging that one too. So you guys can see here. Here's some of the proportions of how big this spider guy is gonna be. Turn off some colors of that. So, you know, human would probably be able to fight this guy. but my other guy should be able to. But we're gonna take a little break from him and continue on this guy. Cool. So we're probably gonna fix a lot of these transitions from the head. Like, it was looking good, but it's not great. We could fix a lot of this stuff, so we'll get started on that. Anybody else joining? Everybody else can hear me fine? I think I just didn't get any response from Mixer, but it's all good. It looks like the other ones are working pretty good, so we'll just get started. How's everybody's weekend going so far? Everybody having a fun weekend, ready for the holidays? Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I could play around with those. Well, the idea is that this guy's gonna be, he's already gonna be dead when he's fighting the other guy, but I wanted to, in case I wanted to make a full figure, I wanted to at least block him out. In the illustrations, hey, how's it going in the illustrations? Thanks for joining. Yeah, so this stream, we concentrate a lot of design. That's kind of like our main focus here for 3D printing. But my background is mostly visual effects, so that's kind of where I'm coming from. So this is just like a good way to kind of enjoy my personal work. Chi-Town, what's up? So I guess we're gonna fix the major problems of the proportions at the moment. Let's see. Like, and also where all the limbs are going to be inserting, because obviously they have to have some kind of guidance of where they're coming from. And maybe the tail has an interesting shape where like it's leveled up, so it makes them so it doesn't drag on the ground. That's kind of the idea, because if it was dragging on the ground, it would probably not work out very well. Probably be ripped his whole sack open and let all his little spiderlings or whatever he has in there. So one of the main thing I'm looking for right here is the silhouette, right? So I'm looking at kind of what's happening here with this, and if I'm liking it. Hey Citizen, how's it going? I can't read the Japanese text. Rose too difficult. I don't understand what that means. Like, can you explain? Like, you mean like if this guy's fighting, if that other guy is fighting this guy? Yeah, it's almost like his body needs to just be a bit elongated, right? Like an S shape, like his head. Like, I think you can see my cursor here. Like his head needs to kind of come up, so that way he's more mobile. I imagine this guy like in like in trees, like really, or bamboo sticks, kind of like really like tall ones, and he's all the way in the top, like looking down, so you don't see him so much. And then whenever he comes to see his prey, it just kind of comes out from top of you and kind of takes you out. So I mean, that means his limbs are probably gonna have to be a lot longer, but you know, that's what we're here to do, to play around with some of that stuff. So here, I want to start separating this. Let's dynamesh it. Keep it low. Let's divide it once. There we go. That's much better. Let's delete all those subdivisions. 32. Suman Ghost. Hagos. How's it going? Alright, let's see. Alright. There we go. Now we got some more resolution. So I want it to feel like it's segmented so that it feels like he can actually flex if he needs to, right? So that's like one segment. So one thing we can do too is start playing around with some of the segments so that it feels like you can actually Where are you guys joining from? Feels like that one needs to be broken up into one more. Colorado, nice. Italy, cool. Pittsburgh, Brazil, very cool. Yeah, I appreciate you guys joining the stream and checking this out. Let's make this into a mesh just to preview it so it doesn't look so weird. Then we can convert it to a mesh later once we're happy with the positions. Right now I feel like the top arms could be adjusted, but I want to concentrate on working on the main body. So here, one of the main things I want to do is kind of break the silhouette, because the middle section is starting to feel too much of the same, and I wanted to kind of build from like the rib cage to the abdomen to like a bigger like lower body. So it feels like it could be really supportive, you know. It's almost like that midsection is where he can actually flex a lot. But one of the main things we have to keep looking at is that we check out the Germany. Hey, how's it going? From different angles. That's the important part, you know. Because sometimes as sculptors or as digital sculptors, we forget to check that there's more than one dimension or two dimensions that we need to really concentrate on. So some of the inspiration behind this was, you know, obviously a tarantula. And the other one was a cave spider. So I kind of wanted to, you know, here's like more of a tarantula look that I'm thinking about. And then, where is my other reference? Let's see. More of this type of thing. So I kind of like this harder shell type of look, so I think I'm going to go for that. But doesn't mean they can't have any little furry stuff either. But that's kind of the look we're going to go for. I always like to show you guys the reference so you guys know what I'm looking at when I'm thinking about designs. It helps, you know, just to see what's going on with the design, because sometimes you'll be like, well, where can you get that idea? Like a lot of the fangs that I'm doing, let's see, where's that image? Like some of the other ideas I was looking at was like some of this stuff, like a different type of spider. That's kind of where I got the giant fangs from. And here's few more references. You know, so I'm kind of just looking at a lot of this, but I like the look of the other one, so it'll be a combination of both of these things. The other one has a really small head, but I want this guy to have, you know, kind of a big head that he can actually chomp on these guys. Get rid of this. So let's see, let's figure out this next section, because the integration, like I like that it has like a little hood to protect the back of his head, but the integration feels a little strange, like it doesn't feel like it really belongs. So let's fix that section. And I kind of want it to be like a bit of a turtle, so he can have his neck and kind of stick it out if he needs to, but not, obviously, very limited in motion. So here we're gonna have to work on some clavicles. Everybody excited for the holidays? Get to do some ZBrushing on your holiday weekend or holiday 2 weeks off. That's kind of what I'm planning to. I'm kind of redoing my office and also planning to do some more streaming. Probably doing some streaming on Wednesdays on my own personal channel, which is on Twitch. I should give you guys a link to that. Let's see. But I'm also planning on finishing some of these things that kind of been lingering. I have a few projects that I've been playing around with that are non-3D print related that I'm trying to wrap up before the end of the year. Hopefully I have enough time. If not, it'll just go by the wayside. So one of the things I'm thinking about here is like, how does the head integrate, and also how is this part of the neck so he has enough flexibility on there. So this is like another link. And then you have his little scapulas. So these are all kind of kept by webbing. So here you can see that maybe the arms need to come out. So by pressing A, it kind of takes you back between polygon preview and still being able to edit. So I want these shoulders to be kind of further back. We have these guys here. So I use a lot of damn standard here, kind of just trying to make something cool with this design. What do you guys think so far? It's going in a good direction. Maybe some of you guys have just joined in. See, I like that silhouette. It's starting to get better. Now it feels more menacing, right? Like it's like it can like attack in the top, but the limbs are a bit thin. We'll beat those up. Maybe elongate the whole thing. Take a link and elongate the entire top body. So I'm keeping this in a couple different subtools, so it makes it easier to move around. Yeah, I think that silhouette's working. Feels like it needs a little more curvature at the bottom. Yeah, I would be scared of this guy too, especially if he's like huge. I would not want to mess with this creature. Let's add some more of this stuff. So another reference that I was looking at that I have in my folder was some of this stuff. This helps to kind of help figure out like what the belly's gonna look like and some of the segments. You see how they're not always even? That kind of helps. So looking at a lot of insect reference, you know, of course all kinds of different different insects, but you know, this is like a basic version that helps me kind of decode of what I'm kind of looking at. If you guys are wondering what the next thing is, like what I'm doing here. Let's turn off those arms. So I made those into two different Z-spheres because I wanted to play around with like different positionings. Like if I just wanted him to have like legs and maybe no arms, but I think he needs to have some kind of arms that are menacing. Oh, cool! Thanks, man. Lou or Lee, I don't know how you say here. So here we're adding like another set of abs, and then kind of like that other insect had. Maybe we could break these up too. That could be a bigger segment that flexes, and all these can have sub segments as well, so that this is like the soft part. So let's add some more resolution on this. So these guys that are extruded up, could be more of the harder edge stuff, and then this stuff in here could be more of the softer stuff, like we could either indicate that by doing something like this and then softening that up, so you know that's kind of like a way for it to accordion in and out. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that, but that's kind of, I just want to show you guys kind of what I'm thinking. So there might be some more of that stuff here. And it all tapers in, so it's kind of like the flex, you know, the flex sections. Maybe some up here. So you have a little bit of that everywhere. Maybe the neck is kind of made of some of those things. But you could have a cooler design that has more curvature. Something like that. But we want to work out all the breaks right now before we continue to do more. And don't be worried about messing stuff up. That would happen. So you can just always go back and touch up. Yeah, I'm just trying to make it very clear that that's one of the shells. I feel like towards the back, maybe they need to get a little thicker from the front. So you see the front is starting to block out. Like I feel like it needs to be wider back here. Now you can see there's more segments if you're looking at it from there, and it feels like there's more powerful lower body. Let's continue to fix some of this stuff. Also, as we're going, we're going to hit it with the H polish to kind of clean some of this stuff up, because, you know, we're pushing and pulling. I want to make sure that it feels nice and polished and like there's structure to this. You guys have any questions? So you see we're cleaning up some of those joints so that they feel more like they make more sense and why they're there. I think there was another joint a little higher than that, right? See, so this one's actually 2 joints, but it's okay. That's the whole point. I hit something, I didn't see it. So what we could do now is kind of use clay to fill it and then recut it. So as we know, we need to have another one back here. So now that I know that this is where they're at, what is that? Some kind of spider creature. Just something that my other main character is going to be fighting. Blue color girl. You want to see the other creature? Let's see. So something that this guy's going to be fighting. We're not finished with him, but he's kind of at least blocked out to a good stage. But we're working on this guy now, just to kind of get him blocked out. All right, so let's continue on this guy. So one thing we could do now is either use the move tool, soften a little bit, and then push in using Alt, and then see those are becoming sockets. Then you could do a little bit of negative inflate so that we have a nicer joint. So it seems to be working. So something that we need here is a bit of shoulder protection. Kind of limits its movement, but the whole point is that it can't have every movement, right? Like it can't go all the way back. It can only do this. Like that's why it has so many limbs. So you got to think about nature, like what's happening with nature and how is nature informing you of like your limitations. And this guy has to have some weaknesses, right? It also looks better from the front if we start giving it a bit of a what's my display size? It's the Cintiq 4K model, the 27 I think, or 24. I want to say 24. I think it's, yeah, and it's 4K resolution. But for some reason, when you're streaming to Twitch, it only likes to put everything at HD. So I'm not sure how it looks for you guys, but it looks okay for me. But it might be. There we go. So you see now we're kind of coming up with a little bit of a theme for the shoulder pads. So we could have to do the same for this guy here. Okay, awesome. Oh, thanks. Yeah, if you like this stuff, feel free to follow me on Instagram. I do a lot of this type of stuff. You know, different softwares besides ZBrush. ZBrush is my main one. I always end up bringing everything back to ZBrush. But I also do a lot of VR, iPad sketching. You know, a lot of just pushing what I can with this tech. And this one's supposed to be a 3D printed project, so I'm gonna end up printing this guy, either as its own figure or part of the combination with the other guy. Ideally with the other guy, but we'll see, because this guy is starting to look kind of cool too. So here I'm thinking about what kind of mobility I'm going to give him, so he has enough range to... Same thing as the other one, since he has a bit of the scapula or a bit of a cover, so he can't move his arms all the way back, but it helps give him a kind of a concise design, you know. So I'm kind of going with the shoulder pads doing this, so I'm probably going to have to do that with the back as well. So maybe do something like that. So you have a repeating design language. Here's where we could play with that. Where we could play around with the headpiece. It's like, let's see, because maybe also could be like that other spider where like it looks like it has a little bit of a, like this design, right, with the spikes and the overall kind of like a helmet. Could be something like that. That could be cool. But you gotta kind of look at that at this level before we go and do any details. You know, maybe has like a, anytime I'm doing anything spiky, I'm thinking of using this brush, the snake hook brush. So even though we're looking at a lot on the front, I think I like looking at the back as well to figure out like what kind of cool design, samurai inspired design we can do on this, you know, because that's kind of what my other characters like, a bit of a samurai. So I'm thinking of the samurai helmets. And how can I implement some of that design in here? So everything should be going forward. So maybe something more like that. Not sure if I like these top ones. Sometimes you'll try something and it doesn't work out, so you can just flatten it back down. So some of you guys may have seen the smooth stronger brush, right? So on the brushes, on the presets, there's a smooth. Let's see, where are you? Smooth. One of these guys had a smooth brush. What's standard? There we go, smooth. Sorry. So this is smooth stronger, and you could use this brush. But one thing I tend to do a lot is actually have a weighted smooth here, which does the same as that. And one thing I like about it is that if I'm trying to smooth something that's like, it's pretty dense and you really want to just kind of get rid of stuff quickly, you see when I press shift, I could smooth it from, put it on 0 mode, which is regular standard, and then 1 is stronger. So if you put it on 1, now you can really like destroy the stuff and kind of get back to where you were at if you don't like the way it's looking. Like I wasn't liking the way that was looking, so instead of continuing to hit it with the H polish, which you can, this gets it there a lot quicker. So now I can like see, like kind of like the way that's going. Or if I don't like that, I could also make it the opposite direction, right? Like make the spikes come downwards, so it looks more like a Shogun type of stuff. Oh, thanks. Yeah, feel free to modify it and make it your own. You know, if something doesn't work for you. So one of the things that I'm going to be adding to my interface is the cameras, like the new camera stuff. I think it's pretty useful. Like adding all these like the different focal lengths. Most likely just like 50 and 85. And then maybe the focal length millimeters, so I can actually adjust it to like 100, because I like to work at 100. And a few other things that I think might be pretty helpful. So here, like I thought that was looking okay, but I feel like it doesn't work. That's not a big deal, right? One thing we can do is go in here with the lasso tool. Go back to the old shape, hide select it, then we make some holes, right? Delete hidden, redynamesh it, and now we're back to something we're pretty close to before. Using that smooth stronger, see how fast you can just like demolish that, get it back to where you had it. So I think in this case we're gonna try to do it the bottom way. Something more like that. See what that looks like, and then kind of go back in there and see that. I think that works better. Let's go with that. Then we're making it flat so it feels more. So see, I feel like I like that bigger shape much better than the one going to the front. Now we can always cut that up. Refine that edge again. Make it spiky the way it was. So I feel like it needs to be, like the head needs to change. I feel like the head needs to wider, it needs to get widened. So it feels more creature-like and less human. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are downloading the interface and trying it out. Yeah, I highly recommend you download, like for some of your ZBrush artists that you really like, download their interface if they're willing to share it, and then kind of make your own from that. I think that will help you guys a lot. Customize it to your workflow. Let's continue on to the bottom of the body. Maybe that needs to curve. That's probably what it is. Let's see. Something doesn't feel right about this whole thing. So I think what needs to happen is that maybe it needs to curve inwards. Yeah, I think it kind of needs to protect his head. I think that's what it is. Yeah, you definitely can. You definitely could, Citizen. You could definitely just sculpt all this stuff out and not have to rig it up. And that's kind of the whole point what we're going to do with this, right? I'm going to kind of get it to a good point where I feel like all the primary, secondary forms are okay. Cut it up. Ugly creature, yeah, thanks. That's what I'm going for. So get it to a good spot and then pose it and then kind of fix some of those things, you know? There we go. I think that's what I needed right there. I think that's... So now we just have to work on the integration of that. But yeah, you could definitely just pose it and then not have to deal with rigging. But if you know all that part of rigging in Maya, maybe sometimes that's easier as well. It all depends what your skill set is and what you know and what you don't know. Because then that just helps you. You want to get stuff done as quickly as possible. Sometimes you could cheat by taking it into Maya and do other things. Let's look at some more samurai reference. Let me open up my my pure ref so you guys can see what I'm talking about in case you guys weren't here in the last couple weeks. Oh, you want to download the UI? Let me see. Let me download. Let me say your link. Oh, okay, they're using the mannequins. Yeah, well, one thing I used to do here, I do sometimes when I'm doing like studies, I use the mannequins that come with ZBrush. Let's see. These guys. And sometimes I just post these guys and then start sculpting from there. So that's another approach as well. So there's no, the good thing is that there's no one way to do it. So if you like doing it that way, you can. If not, then not. Yeah, I do. I will retopologize all this in Maya, but it also depends, right? How much time is if it's for just 3D printing, maybe not. Here's my pure reference, right? So here's some of the shapes that I'm looking at. So maybe I will add some of this to that part of the helmet that might make it feel more samurai-like, you know. So he feels like maybe like something like this guy or just like a regular samurai suit. This is some of the stuff that I'm looking at. You know, just different inspirations. Like maybe he has cloth, maybe he doesn't, or maybe he just has horns. But obviously this guy's a spider, so he probably doesn't have horns. Doesn't mean he can't. It's just not for this version of it. So let me look at that reference for that helmet. So maybe that's what it needs. Maybe it needs like a bit of a... Good reference. So one of the main things that I want to convey with some of this design stuff that I'm doing is that it's inspired by samurais, but it's made of different pieces of other insects, not made of samurai, or you know, like somebody hammered it and made it from metal or something. So see, I think that helped a lot. That feels much better. At least I think so. What do you guys think? Like maybe this is from a horn beetle or something, you know? Yeah, it could need a mohawk, yeah. I think this kind of works, right? This knife feels a little more warrior-like. Only problem is that's kind of interfering with his jaw, so maybe... There you go, that's much better so it doesn't get in the way of his jaw. Yeah. Traces with the oh yeah, like I see what you're saying. Yeah, that could work too. Spider Shark Man here. Yeah, it definitely could be something like that. But yeah, this is all from just for my original IP, so you know, I'm trying to make sense, make sure it looks cool and it functions, but it also it has to be fun too, because that's the whole point of us doing this, right? Like, it's not part of my job. I'm just doing this for fun. Predator spider. Yeah, you're right. Those fangs are making it look like Predator, right? So maybe since we have all this spiky stuff, why not make this spiky as well? Change some shaders and see what that looks like with some other shaders. Yeah, it's not bad. So sometimes it's good to turn off some shaders, turn on some other ones to see if you're what's going on with this stuff, right? Let's do some major adjustments. All right, man. See you next time. Thanks for joining. Cool. All right, that's going somewhere. See what else we can get inspired by. Some more samurai. Let's work on some arms. See if. Hey, how you doing? Pedro, hey, how's it going? Oh, thanks. Yeah, the music, I think it feels epic, right? It feels like it belongs with this stuff. All right, let's make an adaptive skin of that and see where we can sculpt. Yeah, let's keep it really low. Turn off these limbs. Maybe I want smooth. Oh, actually, no smooths. Let's go down a little bit on that. ZBrush, so see, those are way too dense if we're going to start making modifications at this level. Yeah, so for the music, some of the stuff that I'm using is this Pretzel Rocks, and it has some pretty good music. So if you guys want to check that out, it's free. It's pretty cool. There we go. See, that's going to be much easier for us to modify, especially if we want to smooth. See, just well, let's go to the regular smooth. But even with the regular smooth, you just kind of hit it a little bit and everything rounds off. So let's see what we want. What do we want to do about limbs? Obviously beef them up at the joints, right? There's a bit of a fall off. There we go, spiky down here. Alright. So that stuff in here doesn't matter, so we can do this. Invert, delete hidden, run Dynamesh, and that should close those guys up. Let's change this Dynamesh back to, let's go 64, because you're gonna see that it's way too dense. Still too dense, huh? Let's go 16. If that doesn't work, and ZBrush it again. Oh, thank you, Neo. Alright, ZBrush seems to be taking a long time. Alright, we're about an hour in, which is pretty good. I think we're doing alright. What do you guys think? Well, now that we're an hour in, we should actually definitely save. Alright, let's work on some joints. Thanks, Pedro. Appreciate it. Awesome. Yeah, modeling ZBrush is amazing, right? So here I'm just going back to the idea of those joints, you know, being able to have the flexibility between all the little joints since it's an insect, so that everything reads much stronger. So I'm just kind of masking and inflating so I can do a bit of overlap. Not a lot, but just enough to break up that surface. Any of you guys modeling anything while you guys are watching this? Feel free to share if you guys want some feedback as well. I don't mind giving some feedback. So one thing we wanted to do is to find some planes here so it doesn't look just like a tube. So we're gonna go to dance standard and start giving those guys some edges. See, so it has a bit of a shape. Same thing with this, like. Especially for this guy. See what that looks like with the body. See, it's starting to feel like it kind of belongs there. What do you guys think? And constantly looking at the silhouette as a thumbnail. So then we'll probably have to start integrating some of this like the mohawk stuff that's happening here with this guy. Probably integrate some of that into some of the armor pieces on his arms. What do you guys think? Ask what you guys think, because it's like sometimes I've been looking at this for so long, or you know, I also want to get your feedback because you guys are the audience, and what do you guys think is cool? Because that's the whole point, right? We're a community here. We're trying to like talk to each other, get, you know, you guys ask questions. Or techniques, you guys have, you know, if you guys have questions about any specific techniques, like that's what I'm here for, to help you guys. How do you get that silhouette in the corner? It comes with 2020, so if you don't have 2020, you won't get this. Let's see, where was it at? I think it's under preferences, thumbnail. So you could turn it on or off if you don't want it. You can also turn it back to shaded if you want to see it shaded, but that kind of defeats the whole purpose of it being silhouetted. You can also change the size or even magnify it, but I don't recommend doing that. The background color, you could change it to a different color, but if you want to do a silhouette, the whole point of silhouette is to have a big contrast, right? So it's better to just kind of keep it as that. But if you just kind of click on it, you can expand it to make it bigger in case you want to see like. So like one thing that's kind of bothering me, like right now that we're zooming in and out, is that he feels really short. I feel like his upper body's looking okay, but he feels really short, so we might change all this. And that's why it's nice to have this silhouette thing, because then you kind of make bigger changes. So now that I'm seeing this, I know that I want to see, and then I'll up this on the fly, which is awesome. Right, so his body's starting to feel kind of short, so here I want to maybe expand it. But it would be nice if I can grab it from the right joint, so that I just make that joint longer. Go back to this, turn that off. Also, something might be making him feel stubby is that this is real thick compared to the rest of the body, right? So this is where we start tweaking some of this stuff, and see, now he feels a lot taller. His chest is high, but we'll see. We can still tweak this. Maybe also his tail's too. His butt's too big, so maybe he needs to shrink down a little bit. And that might make him feel a little taller. Let's look at some more references. Another reference that I was using was this guy here, but you see his upper body is his upper body's huge, his lower body's like tiny, so that doesn't work. But it's good to see that, right? It's good to see like what other people have done and how you can improve yours, or what to try, what not to try, because sometimes you'll try something and it's like, well, yeah, it's not working out. Like in this case, all these pieces of all the limbs. Let's convert these guys too. These are at a good spot. Like it feels a little better. Let's work on that torso now. So now maybe this is too high. Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate it, Pedro. Pedrag. Sorry if I don't say your name right. I didn't do it on purpose. It's just sometimes reading while you're trying to create and all this stuff is not so easy. At least not for me. Let's change that resolution to 64. Get rid of the ones that I have on. Where's those guys? So this is where you can use the mask tool, right? Or move everything as one. I feel like this needs to be, the lower ones need to be a little girthier because they're starting to become too thin. And maybe add one more joint. What we could do is duplicate this. So one thing I feel is that something broke there. That's fine. Sometimes that happens. So what we could do is just take one instead of taking both. And also that's crazy dense, so you see that's one of the issues. Oh, have you guys been watching, I started watching the show The Witcher. It's pretty good. I really like the creature design in that. You guys should check it out if you guys love creatures and dark stuff. The other show that's pretty good too that I like is The Mandalorian. That one's been great with the baby Yoda. Cool, so let's try that again. So one thing I noticed sometimes when that happens, you know, when I was turning it, you see how I wasn't turning both and now it is? It's kind of weird. I don't understand why, but it seems to be working now, so not a big deal. See, there we go. Now he's feeling like he's doing much better. Let's see, remesh those guys too. Cool. So like 45 minutes, so I think we'll be able to block this guy to a good spot. And then we could probably start figuring out the posing, start pre-posing them to see what's important and what's not, or what needs to be resculpted. Right, that's pretty good. It's weird that's happening. I don't know why that's happening. So I'm masking both. But it doesn't like it, so no big deal. See, that should be moving the whole thing, not just breaking there. Which is pretty interesting, but there's always ways around it, right? See, that's working. Where's things happen? Yeah, it's weird, right? It does that. Sometimes it breaks it, sometimes it doesn't. I tend to have that issue, but let's try it now. Seems to be working now, so that's fine. Yeah, teenage Yoda, grumpy dad Yoda, yeah. See, like a combination of those guys. So if you guys are wondering what I'm doing, I'm just kind of repositioning the legs. One thing that I'm doing to change the pivot is clicking on Alt in the face, and that changes the pivot. Or you can also go the old school way and shift click. That does the same thing. Well, it depends what you're used to. In this case, just want to rotate. Trying to make it feel like he can stand, because right now, earlier it felt like he would just fall back. Here it feels like he can stand now. And that music is getting epic. It's cool. Maybe this is where it makes it butt a little bigger. feeling more balanced, I think. Doesn't feel as short. The other thing we can do is also make all these limbs a lot longer. See, from the silhouette they look okay, but from the front they feel like they're all the same, like they're all mimicking the same shape, and I don't like that. Look at that. See, something that just breaks. Not a biggie. Yeah, I think those front arms, that maybe those are like the poking arms, like the striking. So I think those guys could be more like that, and the other ones could be like ready to just, like once he pokes, the other ones bring this stuff in. Except they're interpenetrating right now, but not a big deal. We'll fix that. Have you guys been playing around with the new Keyshot? I haven't had a chance because I've been too busy, but it's definitely something I want to attempt this holiday break. Let's work on those wrists and those limbs. I think those guys feel like they're broken now. So he feels like he needs a bit of a cover on that thing too. Maybe only the bottom part of the sack is exposed. Yeah, let's do that. That's cool. Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thanks for taking time out of your day to hang out. There's a bit of armor plating back there. Let's work in that midsection. That midsection needs some work. Especially after all the changes we did. See, it got too flat. I need to. So another weak point could be that this soft section in between the joints is nice and soft, so if he gets poked there, then, you know. Oh, thank you, Fahim. Appreciate it. So it's kind of what I'm thinking, right? Like, he has that's why he uses his arms to kind of block things, but he could have some weak sections in there that could be very fatal for him. Kind of going with that theme of the stuff that I have on top of the helmet part, so that it all feels like it's part of it, right? There you go. It's looking a little wicked. I think if we're gonna exaggerate a few things, let's exaggerate that jaw. Let's save this. Yeah, the music is pretty good. Let's see. almost feel tempted to do a bit of a predator thing, kind of split his lower mandible, but I like that better, because the other way it looks like he's just like a big, it looks cool from here but not from the front. Front looks kind of like it doesn't work. That looks cooler, right? 3/4 looks pretty good. Maybe modify the opposite side of the head. One thing that I wanted to do is making sure that the jaw or the cheekbones are sticking out, which I feel like I lost a bit. So let's make that happen. Better. It has a better silhouette, I think. See, because now you have that cheekbone kind of sticking out there. Now that we stretch this stuff so much, we need to do some fixing. So it's super important to always zoom out and see what your design is doing, because there'll be times where you think something looks good and then you look at it from another angle and it looks pretty crappy. Like, I feel like I'm thinking most of the angles on this, but there's something still weird about the front. Could be his neck. Cool, that's looking good. I think they need to be a little beefier, especially towards the top, because you don't want like flimsy limbs, even though he has a lot. Feels like some Stranger Things theme songs. So you see how they're not looking like cylinders anymore? I think that's pretty important. Do you guys have any questions? Have you guys been using 2020 for a bit now? Anything you guys like or don't like about it? One thing I really wanted to do that I didn't get to do in this last stream, I wanted to do a Krampus creature, but I figure it's a little too late for the holidays to do that. But especially because I wouldn't have time to really finish it and print it out. But I think that's something I eventually want to do. Do you guys think that would be cool to do in January, or just wait to December, till next December? Oh, did you guys do any creature designs for Krampus? Yeah, you think it would be cool to do it? Because if you guys think I'll get started when I do my Wednesday stream and then continue it here. I just didn't know if people would be like, oh, you know what, it's kind of over. I felt the same way about doing stuff for Halloween, like continuing like more pumpkins, but I wasn't sure if people are going to be into that or not. Or I like doing this, but you know, do maybe 2 more pumpkins like the ones that I did. Which reminds me, I still need to print those out. I still need to print that one I did out. Also, the next stream, probably I'll be showing you guys what I did with that helmet we did on the first couple streams and print it out. It's almost ready to print, not quite, but it's almost there. See, I really like the way that looks from the side, but the front, it just looks weird. It just doesn't look right. Makes it look kind of silly. Let me see. At least I think it looks silly. I don't know. What do you guys think? Maybe I'll cut it off and try something else. Yeah, Krampus would be cool. I guess it's also the anti-Santa Claus, right? Like, I think he's part of Krampus. I'm not sure. Do you guys know? I just watched the movie recently, so I don't know too much about Krampus, but I thought it was cool. Really, it's crashing often for you, huh? What kind of operations are you doing that it's making it crash? So I started using it for production like 2 weeks ago, and it's been great. There's a few things that I couldn't do in the regular version now that I was able to fix. I was able to make work. Alright, let's close these holes. Oh, you should definitely give this a try, man. Pandemix. You should definitely give a ZBrush a try. I think it'll be worth your while. You can combine it with Blender, you can combine it with other apps, you know, or if you don't like any of the other apps or don't use them, you don't have to, which is also pretty cool. That's what's so nice about ZBrush. It's its own ecosystem where you can combine it with other things. Yeah, see, I think that works. It's not, it still needs some work from the side, but the front doesn't feel as silly like it did earlier. Also, let's turn on some perspective. Let's see what we can do with that. I do use perspective, but from time to time, I tend to switch it off a lot. 50, 85. 50 is okay. Oh, is it free? No, I wish it was free. It's not free yet. Yeah, there's a monthly subscription and there's a yearly subscription, so you could do that. Or you could also, there's a ZBrush, I forgot what it's called, like a more optimized version for cheaper, which I would highly recommend maybe starting with that. That could be good. Oh yeah, there's tons of good tutorials out there. Well, there's a lot of these streams, right? You can learn a lot from different, depends if you want to do jewelry, 3D printing, stuff for production, or just character design. There's a lot of these streams that kind of cover a lot of that, which is I think really cool. I wish I had that when I was trying to come up and learn this stuff. There was very minimal stuff. Okay, I think that's working better. Yeah, you should definitely, man, because you could print all this stuff up. Check out my Instagram. They have a lot of stuff that I printed there that I made. Let me get you some links so you can check that out. Also, if you want to download the interface, and a link to my website in case you want to check out some of my other work. Alright, let's fix some of this madness that we just added. So the main thing is not about all the detail, right? Not yet. It will be about the detail a little later on. But right now we're trying to just make sure we cover all our bases and make sure that everything looks looking good. Everything is like looking nice and clean. So I'm getting rid of some of these kinks by using clay at a low opacity. You know, actually way lower than that. It should be like at 10. So we removed that section earlier. So now we're gonna go back and refine this edge now. It's all inside, so it doesn't matter. That's the nice thing. Oh, you want to see? You want to hear the music? You want to know what the music is? It's this guy here. Big giant circle. Yeah, you should definitely check that out. It's free. It sounds great. It's making me feel like I'm sculpting a lot better than what I am. Cool. Alright. Feels much better now. Let's continue working on some arms, because if not, we're not going to get anywhere. Oh, this is pretty good too, this music. So what I'm doing is hitting inflate in the opposite direction, holding Alt, so that we get a little bit of addressing some of these limbs. Here's where you can use move topological so I don't accidentally move anything in the back. We're going to go back and do a little bit of the refining of the shapes now. Thoughts? What do you guys think? Let's make those eyes black again. So a lot of times it also helps to have a color, right? Like that's another big important part of this whole design thing. That what kind of color we're gonna make this guy. Any questions? I think we have like 15 minutes left, so if you guys want to have any questions, this is probably a good time to chat about any technical questions or any design questions you may have. Wrong brush. Alright, let's see what this maybe looks like in Keyshot. Do some quick tests. So we can see what our HDRI and maybe play around some materials. Still a Keyshot 8, but soon I'll upgrade to 9. Let's give it a second. It seems to be loading. Looks like it's still not big enough. There we go. I think the scale being so large, it's kind of throwing this whole scene off, but we'll give it a try. Yeah, I'm using a Cintiq at the moment. That's why I have to keep moving stuff from my regular 30-inch screen, Dell, to the Cintiq, because it wants to jump up to the other section. Yeah, look at what's happening with that ground. It's so weird. I guess because that ground is so tiny. Let's see if we can change the ground plane too. Right. Oh, there we go. Let's go 300. That's what it is. Look kind of weird. Got 10 minutes. Do some quick renders. Play around with that. We're actually going to smooth the legs because the legs look kind of whack. Like this. Send it over. So also updating. So let's try some. Super slow. There you go. Now we're getting some stuff. The scene scale is so huge that it's throwing this whole thing off. Maybe 100's a little too much, but let's go with 50. It's much better. So what do you guys think where we kind of ended up today? So here I'm just trying to get a feel as to like what am I gonna have to adjust, and it maybe needs more cavity or is not quite reading correctly. That's kind of what I'm trying to do with this. In case you guys are wondering why he keeps changing the HDRs. You know, like the depth of the eyes, the neck part. But it seems to be all kind of reading correctly, like overall. Not too unhappy, but I feel the compression of the butt still needs to maybe just be a little longer. Maybe just the butt part needs to expand just a tiny bit, like more. But overall, I think it's not too bad. That's much nicer. Get a little backlighting going on. Oh, thanks, Astro. Thanks for the feedback. So I see some of the stuff, you see how some of the stuff gets very washed out once you start putting a little bit of subsurface. So that means a lot of these features are going to have to be, you know, just redefined. Which is not a big deal because that's the whole point of what we're doing this right to. That's the wrong brush. Separation in those teeth, and maybe there's a lot of, we also have to add more resolution to this. It's wrong origin. The origin of that taper should be like right here. So a lot of it is about refining now, going back and just kind of fine-tuning some of these. Adding also a little bit of roundness on some of these forms so they don't feel so flat. We only have like a minute or two, but thanks for you guys for joining. Really appreciate it. It's cool to sculpt with you guys. We'll hopefully be doing some more of this after the new year. So if you guys are enjoying this, feel free to let me know either on Instagram or post it on here. Yeah, so around this, I'm gonna go in here and then refine this to be a lot much nicer, because I kind of want him to have a little bit of eyelids, so you have a bit of an expression. But let's I think I merged these guys in together. That's fine. I'm probably gonna go in here and start making like a bit of lids, and then put actual little eyeballs in there. Yeah, I guess I blended these together, but they're actually separate objects, so I'll probably go in here and start making lids. So when I bring those guys back, and then, you know, maybe let's see. So then flip the So kind of doing some of this type of stuff and refining all the edges so that there's actually nice lids and nice intersections. But right now, since we were just working on design, I also might break it off from the top jaw to the bottom so that I can have more resolution, ZBrush all this, so that I have nice topology flow. But yeah, that's kind of where we left off, guys. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. We'll continue some more of this in the coming weeks. So feel free to tune in and join me again for more of this stuff. All right, thank you guys.